I'd like to welcome each of you to the premiere of Sounds of Chicago official podcast version. You know, in the past it was more like just music and music and music. So I'd like to welcome each of you to the 2023 Sounds of Chicago. Hopefully something that is going to be happening quite regularly. So first, let's start off with a nice little introduction with each of you.
I'll go first. My name's Ryan Joseph Kuhn. I'm a singer-songwriter from Bolingbrook. Been writing and playing for about 15 years, recording a lot, and I write a lot about mental health, depression, and anxiety, and trying to erase the stigma of it and trying to make it okay to talk about. So that's kind of my main goal, and music is my passion, and that's my vehicle to do it. So those two things are hand in hand for me, music and mental health, and that's what I'm about, really.
And we've had you here before, so it's really incredible to have you perform, and a lot of your powerful music that you've had here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, I'll go next. My name is Zachary Sonny Edwards, but my friends call me Sonny, so you can all call me Sonny. Oh, it's the crowd awes.
It's always sunny in Chicago.
I love it.
You got another one. That's the second one.
That's the second unique joke. I love it here. As for the stuff I do, I play a multitude of instruments. Drums are my main instrument, but I also play guitar and I sing. I also fake it on bass and keys, but professionally I drum officially with the Vultures, a local indie band. And
Upcoming show.
Yes, we have a show tomorrow. Well, we have a lot of shows, actually, but we're playing tomorrow at Reggie's. We'll have already played it and had millions of fans there by the time this airs. But yeah, actually, which sounds like a fire hazard, but if anything. But yeah, and I also perform solo as well. I write my own music, and I will soon be releasing a tune, my first official original release, that I went all Prince style on and recorded all the instruments myself as well.
That's a tease, folks, right there. That's a tease.
That's right. Stick around for the name of the tune later in this episode. Also, I love doing music, and it makes me happy. It makes other people happy.
And I am Brian Christian Adam. I go by The Endeavorist. Yes, that's right. What do I do? Not much. I am a percussionist but a humble servant to the music community. I try to fill in wherever possible, and I also do photography, mainly live event photography. And I am very, very humbled to be here, and I appreciate this very much. Thank you. Hey, how do we meet everyone? Was it an open mic?
I think it was. In fact... BJK, would you like to tell everyone?
So I started out back in about March 2020, and I went to Shanahan's in Woodridge. It's the first time after since the pandemic had started that I was at an open mic. And Shanahan's is a small restaurant in Woodridge, and it was hosted by Henry Shearer and Matt Shukin, who I was immediately, I was like, they're cool dudes. So I come back every week and we start I record everything that I've done at Shanahan's. And so now we're going to do an album like that. But all of it, like everything I have been able to accomplish lately over the past couple of years has been because of, getting out there and meeting people at open mics. There's plenty of them. We could list them all off of all the great open mics in the area that we have.
Yeah, there's far more than we could even keep track of sometimes. I mean, and unfortunately, as quickly as some come, some disappear as well, unfortunately. And that always makes it quite the challenge. But I really appreciate what you're doing because you're literally out on the front lines, so to speak.
Sure.
And again, it's a great service because a lot of people really are dying to play, and they don't always know where to play, but you have something happening regularly, so that's really good.
Yeah, I will actually be relatively serious about this topic because I like to say I was kind of raised on open mics. So those who don't know, I grew up actually in upstate New York, and there were a lot of, I was very fortunate that there was a thriving, however small, music community where I lived, and I was able to get into the open mics I frequented as young as 16, and I brought hand drums and would play play the drum kit at the ones that they had full band at. As well, and it was such an excellent way not just to meet people, but to like let out steam and to try new stuff with low pressure, but a little pressure, a little bit of that performance pressure as well. It's not the same as practicing at home. So yeah, I always say it's the lifeblood of the music community. It keeps people even sharper and happier and more content and more communicative. It is truly a really important service, and I'm like touched to be able to help my fellow musicians in keeping any of it afloat. So it is very cool. So
Brian?
Oh, geez. I got my start back in, I think that was 2018 over in Bailey Doyle in Downers Grove. The young and spry Richard Mack, he was only 86 at that time.
Only?
I went there 5 weeks in a row and didn't play, and on the 5th week, he invited me up, and I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks after that, he invited me to play on WGN, the morning show.
Wow.
So I really took heart to the seriousness of what could be accomplished at these open mics. Like it's just like Zack said, it's not quite like a practice at home, but it's not something serious. You can still have fun. But it's nice having that live audience, and with the way people are these days, the love and positivity that's there, the encouragement, that's a very big part of it. And Zack and I, we really do try very hard, and it's not easy. I understand a lot of open mics, they come and they go. We really try our hardest to encourage everyone and to try to get everyone up there and play their hearts out. And I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling.
No, you're speaking truth, man. I mean, as far as the environment we try to establish, and actually, I would also say too, as near and dear as the concept of open mics have been to my heart for years, ever since I was a teenager. Probably the best local example comparable to our own, just like the warmth of the community, is, I would say, the studio. The studio is an excellent example of, certainly before O'Neill's in particular, Laura, the owner of the...
Laura's great. It's the studio, I've been going there a lot more lately, and that's kind of become like a little sanctuary. To go there on Thursday nights, and it's always great people, great hosts at the open mics. So yeah, the studio is definitely, that's top of my list these days.
Yeah, top, because just the warmth. Seriously, the welcoming atmosphere is one of the most important things. What I've found is it's like profound what a person can do given the right encouragement. A lot of us have so much potential there already, but through fear or whatever, we don't always let it out. And so sometimes I like to just see, like, if I encourage someone, what they can do, and it's usually pretty amazing. So
it's always amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, especially with original music. In the local music scene here, that's the way to get paid, is to do cover band stuff. That's what it is. So. The fact that there is this local scene that's encouraging of actually producing original music is absolutely fantastic. I know both of you write and produce your own original music, and it's spectacular. You never know what you can do.
That's true. Yeah. And encouragement. A lot of it comes to that encouragement and support. That's a big thing for me, is support, because that ties in with the mental health stuff, because having a support network is very key. And for me, music is therapy, really. So when I go out to these open mics, and I go out to O'Neill's almost every Sunday, you should check it out for sure. Another plug. But music for me has... I'm not going to say it completely saved me like his shirt says, but it
sustains you.
Sustains me, keeps me going, and having these open mics and the support of all the people that go to them and seeing the same faces, getting to know them, getting to know their music, and having them know your music, it's great. So.
So I'm very blessed to run an open mic with this guy right here. He takes on most of the hosting, over the loudspeaker and all that. I try to get to know literally. Actually, I do a really good job of getting to know everybody that walks in the door, and you can always tell when it's a musician that walks in the door. They're kind of like they're kind of shy and they don't know where to go and they don't know who to talk to. And I just try to make everyone feel welcome and that this is the place that you can practice your art. Like we're just very loving and forgiving of everyone that comes in the door. And I think that's very important.
And I would even add a place you can be yourself in particular, too, in general. And I feel like I do a bad job of how I focus a lot on the musicians themselves, but I mean the crowd also makes the open mics at a lot of the different ones that are run, especially including ours, I should say, and they're just as important because they're the ones a lot of the time cheering along with the other fellow musicians for the folks on stage, and I mean we have an atmosphere of support and once again just allowing folks to be themselves, to see what happens when you can really just let it out and be yourself.
And I think another huge thing is playing with other musicians.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just so great. I didn't really start doing it until about 2 years ago, really, and it's just it's great. And then I'm at a loss for words at how much meaning you get out of playing music, and especially original songs. When someone plays your original song with you, it's very powerful, and it makes you feel warm inside.
It does. It is such a wonderful
Not to get
feeling.
too sappy.
Well, once again, as far as my open mic history, I started primarily as a percussionist, and so I kind of had to play with other folks if I wanted to, and so I had a pattern of like showing up and being like, hey, could I play with you kind of thing, and I always got such a positive response. For the most part, there would be the occasional person who, of their own volition, would prefer to just be by themselves too. I feel like there is sort of a conduct you always want to ask. It's general consent, right? You want to make sure people actually want it happening, of course. But when folks come together, especially people who don't know each other and still can manage to create something on stage live, it's like it's really wonderful. It's so awesome. So we try to encourage it. We of course never push it, but it's cool.
And have these guys back you. For sure, on your set.
Actually, one of my favorite things is so there's a lot of hip hop artists, and they're trying to get into the local music scene, and they go to open mics and they have their backing tracks, right? And they're not received very well. So what I try to do, and what Zack and I try to do, is just modify that. How about we have a band behind you? And that band can just play at that BPM, and we'll figure out, like a certain feel to the music. And what we see time and time again is all these people coming back because they love that energy and that feeling of just everyone connecting, and it sounds great. And they're able to do their songs just like they do on their album. It sounds great, and it's I just that's magic to me right there.
Yeah, and everyone loves it, myself included.
Yeah.
I was like lose my mind last time. Specifically, one group we have coming up,
Yeah.
COMIN' up. That's their prime example. We have folks jam with them at the open mic, and it's always a blast. And it's cool too to watch how they have developed a feel for like guiding the band too, like giving
Absolutely,
direction
yeah.
and stuff. That's a huge part of it too. Another skill I've learned at the studio is directing the band that you're playing with too.
And I think watching other people grow as musicians,
Especially with you haven't been in 2 years, you can already see that history.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's very powerful as well. When you can join someone else on their musical journey, I think it's just very rewarding, and it brings people together rather than taking them apart.
And let's not forget about the basic fact of just networking in general. I mean, it's sort of like networking with a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, not a networking purpose, but the networking as a side effect of working together in that way.
Well, what I would say about that is obviously like networking in business is helpful and important, but what I in particular try to keep in mind with this sort of music scene that we're all in is like, and even just the way we live our lives. I mean, one of the reasons I do music is I wanted to enjoy my life to the fullest, and music is what I would consider my calling, and it like. The way I would put it is I would rather work with people I know and care about, you know, than not, or just have it purely business, right? I mean, you could do that, you know, people could make money doing whatever they want if they're smart enough about it. But to me, the most worthwhile aspect is if you build real connections with people, because otherwise, what is the effing point of any of this, right?
Sure.
Can we swear here? No.
Doesn't bother me.
Gosh. I actually generally don't swear.
He does clean jokes.
I try to. They're not good.
No,
but-
they're definitely not good. But they are clean.
That's right. That's the sunny guarantee. It's terrible.
Now we are going to hear a little bit more from Brian and Brian Kuhn, and tell me about the new album that you got just released.
So, album, you probably mean albums the way
Albums.
I've
Good
been
point.
recording and writing these days. Pretty much every day I'm doing something musically, and since I'm doing everything myself, I just try to make progress in every area I'm in, and I feel like I've been reaching some good levels lately, and feeling confident. But I think I've released 5 albums this year, or since last year, and there are other ones I recorded because, like I said before, music is my therapy, and doing it keeps me healthy. I know that if I'm not doing it, that's when I know there's a problem, because depression and anxiety, they overwhelm you, and you have to find things that will help you get through that. So music for me is number one for that, and it's not even close. Anyone who follows me on Facebook or Instagram knows, I'm out there, I'm doing it, and I'm doing what I wanted to do. So about 5 years ago, I started up a band called Gray Shore Avenue, and I had never had a band before, and it was a complete crazy learning experience. A lot of trial and error, a lot of error, and it didn't work out. There was inner band things that went on, which also does not work well for someone who has depression and anxiety. So that I had to get away from that. And since then, I've just been doing the solo thing and just trying to improve. I really have been focused on my vocals over the past year because I really want to, I want to make sure I'm doing the best I can and living up to the potential that I believe I have. And but this new album, well, it's volume 1. There is 3 volumes currently of it, 10 songs on each volume. So I've got 30 songs ready to go, and I'm going to release them in 10s. And so they're all originals, and some of them I've been writing for years. Some of them I wrote it the other day. I'm pretty proud of it, and I don't want people to hear it. That's and that's the thing as a musician. It's tough to get that. There's so many people out there. There's also so many other things to be doing, especially on the internet. And so when I know that someone listened to my song, that it emboldens me to keep going forward, because in my head, the voice in my head's always telling me the negative things, not the positive. So when other people are telling me that, the positives, it reinforces it for me, and it says, wait a minute, maybe you don't suck, And lately I've been, lately I've been getting a lot more support. I mean, I've been getting great support for a couple of years, and these 2 guys right here, huge support.
That's what we need for sure.
Give me a minute. You guys say something.
We love you, buddy. We love you,
Absolutely.
Brian. And I mean, you. First of all, I would just like to say that that's probably the first band that's ever not worked out and had inner turmoil.
Yeah, right. That was the first, yeah.
The first
we had to
in
be the
recorded
guinea
history.
pig for it. Everybody else, it's all sunshine and rainbows, right?
Exactly. Yes. No, but so I mean, trial and error is certainly how we go through life, right? And what you're saying about the negative voices, I mean, I heard some statistic from my therapist that was like something crazy like 80% of all thoughts are negative or something like that, like that have any sort of positive or negative connotation. They tend to be negative. Things we think about ourselves or others or just the world around us, and that's one thing you actually used the term support network right earlier. Yep. Another term that my therapist has told me, it's one of our best tools, resources in our lives for our mental health and happiness in general is the network we have. For a lot of people it's family, and that's sort of like baked into their lives, and that's great, but it's not always as simple for a lot of folks, and a lot of us can end up having what you can say is found family or family that you sort of have a hand in forming or finding yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And I know for a lot of us in the Chicagoland music scene, it's music, it's music related folks and artists and and the entertainment industry in general too. I even I consider like waiters and bartenders and staff like that to be a part of it too. We all kind of work together in this part of society together, and so yeah, I mean having folks around us to combat those negative voices, to feed the positivity externally, it makes it easier for us to do it internally as well, right?
Definitely.
And it makes it easier for us to just do things in general, to release our own stuff. I mean, there's of course power in being able to inspire ourselves in a vacuum, but that's just not always possible, you know. So it's very powerful to have that sort of support,
I agree completely, and through Facebook, I've got so many people that have supported me over the past few years, and I can't thank everybody enough. And it sounds stupid, but if someone hits a like, I see that and I'm like, oh hey, like something I said made them hit that button. Maybe it was nothing, really minor thing, but it's
a visible impact. It's
visual impact.
Yeah,
okay.
you know what I mean. It's like it's like evidence of feedback, right? So it might seem silly. It's just a small action, but it really does. It does make a difference.
Right. It's the meaning behind a lot of the messages that I get from people and people that will listen to my mixes as I send them to them. There's a bunch of people that I send music to, and I do it because they're close friends, and I want to make that connection with them, and that's kind of how I make the connections, because I know when I isolation is number one worst thing you can have when you're having depression, when you're going through an episode. And battling through it every day, it's a challenge, and everybody has challenges, but I've just been overwhelmed especially the past year, with all the people I've met. Zack, I don't think I really knew you till last year. PCA, we've known each other a little longer, but the amount of people I've met at these open mics, people like we talked about earlier, and the musicians that we play with, including when I get to jam with these guys at O'Neill's. I look forward to that. That's what I want my life to be. And the fact is, for me, I realize that, I'm doing the stuff I want to do. I wanted to do 5 years ago. It's actually, it took a long, long road to get here, but I'm at a point now where I think I'm ready to go up to a next step, and as a musician, and because playing live, playing in your room is that's fine, but you can't compare it to playing live and making that connection with people in person and not on Facebook or Instagram. So, but anyways, my music, just to get that out of the way, I write a lot of like rock and indie rock, alternative. Try to blend a lot of genres together. 90s grunge is a big influence on me. So I do a lot of acoustic, but also electric. And but I'm constantly recording. Hit me up if you ever want some links, because I have plenty of them.
Definitely. Now, you also did an album based on Wilco songs?
I was doing an album of covers of all of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. So I've got about 10 projects that go. are going right now, and so I have to avoid burnout. I have to have different projects, so I
For
can't
sure.
focus on one for like 5 days. I want to focus on that one for like 3 hours, and then go and do another one, another aspect that I'm working on. So yeah, I mean, it just takes work and, believing in yourself. That's the one thing, man. I feel like people have been believing in me lately. And I, a lot of times don't believe in myself. So.
Well, I can definitely identify with you as well. And in my perspective, I have those feelings, but also compounded by a little bit of a need to be a perfectionist.
Yes.
So it's like the space that we're in right now, I never feel like it's ever enough for anyone to be here, with knowing my own deficiencies. So I can completely identify with you. I hear those voices, and why would anyone want to come here, type of thing? Why would anyone feel that this would be helping them?
For the wonderful dad jokes.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I could recite them. I can't, come up with them. So.
You came up with one earlier, but for real though.
For plugs.
Yes, yeah, we can find extra inspiration for the business. No, for real though. I mean, yeah, we all have those negative, voices, right? And a lot of getting through life is figuring out what to do about those voices. Because this might sound weird, but I mean, those voices want to help us. They want us to get the most joy out of our life. It's just that when they don't turn off, you know what I mean? That's when they paralyze us, and so we have to move past them some way. And it's sometimes the best is being part of a group that'll help you get past those voices, right? So
Exactly.
How about you, Brian? You able to not be subjected by voices like that?
Am I not able to be subjective by the voices in my head that tell me I'm not doing enough in this world and that I can be doing more?
No. I didn't say that at all. I didn't say
Brian
that at all.
texted me, and I could be doing more today. Oh,
Yeah.
that's the 5th one in a row.
Yeah. I could always be doing more, and I do try to do more by working on myself and working on my art. It's sometimes kind of weird with what I do, because I do back up so many people and I work with so many amazing musicians, and that also includes learning who these people are, learning where they have problems in their own life, learning about what job they do, what hours they work. It's a lot. I know I take on a lot, and I'm okay with that. And I always feel like I can do more. And I will, by just figuring out how I can make myself better. I know a lot of people are out there, and they try to make their art better by just focusing on the art form itself. Yeah. But really it's focusing on the internal, and then also understanding all these amazing humans that we have around us. And that's not easy for a lot of people. I could talk forever about all the people that are in my life that are struggling. Literally everyone is, and it's quite amazing. It is. It's amazing that anything ever gets done anywhere. It's amazing that any art ever gets made anywhere. And this is definitely not the time to have I can't believe I'm saying this. This is definitely not the time to have an AI robot making art for us.
Good point. Yeah.
This is the time for us.
I agree.
I agree as well.
It's too
Yeah.
easy to just succumb to a patch, an AI. Bit.
And we all love it. I mean, it
Yeah.
makes great art, but so do humans.
For
The
sure.
humans made it first.
Can you believe
Just
that?
to
Yeah.
say, yeah.
It's messed up. I love the AI art. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's creative. Bad idea.
Could AI go to an open mic?
I hope not. I don't think I would want
if
that.
AI went to an open mic, we would allow it. with full and open arms. I don't know if it would be able to actually hug us. I prefer that nice hug.
Yeah, what a sad. Yeah, that's true. What a sad absence.
Yeah, that would be really messed up. But I would definitely allow the AI to come and do art. And you know what? I bet you that AI would make better art and better music than all of us, but it would not have the humanity that all of us have.
Yeah,
And
couldn't give us a hug.
Nope. And
Well-
if they could give us a hug, it would be a really, really bad hug.
Well, let's face it, it would be without a soul. And
Yep.
what makes music what it is the soul that we pour into the music.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm sure it could make a lot of great notes and whatnot, but, without the emotion and the life experience poured into the music,
Yeah.
it's not going to be anything.
I agree. VIP meet and greet with Larkin Poe. I've thought about this a lot. What I'm going to do is two things. I'm going to pee my pants, and I'm going to have a heart attack and pass out. That's
Oh,
three things.
They
but
were really, really nice.
yeah, I mean, they seem really cool. That's one reason that I admire them so much, is they just seem like super down to earth human beings. But yeah, one of the reasons I admire Larkin Poe, a lot of my friends know that I'm totally obsessed with that group. But there's a lot of reasons I like them. The blues influence, like they're often considered roots music. A lot of their influence comes from music from early in American history, which I super adore and admire myself. Muddy Waters was one of my first intros to a lot of the music I listen to now. I found Muddy Waters like top 40s greatest hits or something in a bargain bin at Walmart. It was like $6, which
Oh, wow.
feels like blasphemy, right? But I
Exactly.
mean, I'm glad though. I found it in high school, and I there was just something about. I feel like this is almost cliche to say, but there's something about the way he sang the blues. Like he hit something like a sadness, right? Like there's just a sadness that I didn't hear in a lot of modern music. And I realized I had a similar sadness that I could get out. I had the blues. I realized I had the blues at that time. And so I fell in love with blues music, and it launched a whole like special journey for me. But yeah, so going back to Larkin Poe though, with one of the reasons I admire them in particular, we talked about this a little before, but it's two sisters. That's the crux of the band, and they work together even though they don't have to, and a lot of siblings don't get along, and they I know that they fight. They've had interviews where they like publicly announce they fight as sisters, which is normal, but they choose to go about their music career together. And I know that if I really wanted to, I could probably be some like hotshot rock star if I did, if I played all my cards right, I got the right training or whatever. But it just sounds really lonely, it just seems really sad. Then I'd really have the blues, I think. It really wouldn't matter what I was doing or what I accomplished, If I was doing this alone, it's like, what's the point? To me, music, the most beautiful aspects of music come from truly sharing it with others, I think, and making connections. And so that's another reason I admire them too. They choose to perform music, not even just together. I mean, they play with like everyone under the sun. They went on tour with Willie Nelson this past year or something like that, and
Bob Seger at one time.
yeah, I mean, just the list is insane. So Buddy Guy too. I mean, Buddy Guy's another example. He's played with
And Blues Fest, I think they're at too, a few years ago.
yeah, they're going to be at the next Blues Fest. Buddy Guy is actually another great talking point, because one of my goals one day is to be on a scale where I could show up to any. I know Brian kind of hopes for this too. Show up to, or this Brian, maybe you too. Show up to any show, and it'd be like, oh my gosh, it's Buddy Guy. We'll come join us, play with us. You know what I mean? And everyone knows it'd be cool to to have him sit in. I would love to just be at a point where I could perform with whoever, just to share music, so, or tour with whoever, book my own folks, whoever I would want to have play with me. But yeah. Anywho, I don't know if you have any specific questions for me. Do I have an illness where I could talk forever?
No, not at all. I mean, again, you've got a lot of great involvement in the industry. So, other than what we've discussed here, like how have some of your other interactions been?
Let me see if I can make like a short list of the stuff I do. So hosting the open mic at O'Neill's. I occasionally, through United Talent, run by Joey DeMarco, I will sometimes substitute at open mics as well when the main folks can't do it. And so I have a few different types of open mics under my belt, but I market myself as a bit of a professional substitute, I like to say, like a professional fill-in or even professional last-minute performer. I will play backup drums and guitar for a lot of folks when their main folks can't make it. And I said this before, but I'll say it again. I'm going to be officially releasing my first, real recording of an original song of mine. I'll say it now. If you tuned in from earlier, you get to hear it now. It's called "Let Me Be Still." It is both a metaphor and a physical claim about my inability to be still. I would say emotionally. I mean, in my own life, it is hard for me not to want things to happen instantly as soon as I can envision them, right? And I'm sure I'm not the only one, I hope. But, and so I kind of wrote a song. It's actually almost not a cry for help, but just a screaming into the ether about how I'm frustrated about how much I burn my candle out too fast so often in my life. Not proud to say this, but especially in relationships, and I'll say it on air. I don't know, and how I know that part of the problem lies with me, and a lot of it's just my really impatience, and so I put all of that into this one song in particular. Let me be still. Let me just let things happen. It's a song about relinquishing control and allowing life to happen and trusting that it will the way that I want it to, instead of trying to make it happen the way that I have so often. So that's some of my original music I'll be releasing. As far as other stuff I do, I run sound also. Sometimes I'll take sound gigs. I do it at open mic, of course, but and I host as well.
You do it really well.
Thank you. I'm still learning. Do you remember when we first started running it? I don't think you would have said that the first day.
Well, we sound so good here because of you.
It's your ability to learn and to adapt that really,
And stay calm.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's a lot.
Oh my God.
That's a lot right there.
Yeah.
I like to learn. I attribute that to my inability to sit still. I just require constant stimulation. And so if someone's doing something in front of me that I don't know how to do, I want to figure out how to do it. And the music industry is rife with those things. There's so many different aspects. I think my next venture might be into lighting. So learning about how to run stuff like that. So I mean, it's just a passing interest now, but I'm sure it'll develop into something eventually. But
Lighting technician wanted.
Yeah. Well, let me study up first, and I'll be back. but yeah, you're gonna have to give me a massage after this, Bri.
Oh yeah.
And with that, we are back.
There's the Barry White voice. Finally brought it out.
I didn't think we were doing massages, but
Every time.
okay.
That's how we
This
run
made
our
this
open
a
mic.
little
There's
bit more interesting.
Bad jokes there. I'm not gonna make it.
Bad jokes
Not
and
gonna make it.
massages.
I make him use the voice too.
Oh.
Sounds of Chicago did not include massages. Thank you.
Disclaimer.
No one was harmed in the massaging of the guests.
I do feel much better though.
Oh yeah, it's like night and day now.
Well, we are definitely having a great time here, and I want to thank Brian, and Sunny for being here. Thank you so much for being here and kicking the new year off with a great new set of podcasts that I hope will definitely really help give people more of a voice. And again, the goal with this is going to be not just to have musicians on and talk, but to try and mix people from different genres and different parts of the industry to get more of a good dialogue happening here. So that's what everyone could look forward to hearing in the next hearing and seeing if you're watching anything on TikTok and or YouTube.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a few different areas where you can see it. So stay tuned for all that. But now to conclude, I want to see if anyone has any final messages that they'd like to share here.
First, I just want to thank you, Dennis, for doing this.
Thank you.
That's number one. Number 2, I'm playing a show at Black Dog Vinyl in Plainfield on Wednesday night with this guy over here as the host. Can you? Yes,
yeah,
this
that's
guy
right.
Here.
Wow, is
I'm
that
gonna host it.
Is that the Vulnerable
The Vulnerable
Showcase?
show. I think we
is.
just did the Vulnerable Showcase pre-show right here. That's what we did.
Actually, yeah. We kind of did. That is very sweet. Yeah.
So, but yeah, come out for that. At Plainfield, Black Dog Vinyl, and thanks to these guys, this is a really fun experience. And check me out on Bandcamp, and I'll have more stuff coming to Spotify. But if you go to Brian Joseph Kuhn and the Distant Memory Project, you'll find everything there.
Thank you.
All right. So I will also thank Dennis. Man, this is super cool that you put this all together, and more of the lifeblood of the music industry, I would say, the music scene. Giving people a voice, that's pretty awesome. And to segue into the Vulnerable Showcase, I almost forgot about my own showcase. I have a showcase series that I've started to launch, just about being in particular vulnerable about some of the original music that us artists write, and we especially don't get the chance to perform in our average gigging circuit, where the expectation is usually more upbeat stuff or covers or what have you. I wanted to have a special instance where everybody gets to listen to music that means something special to the performers that they've written as well. So the next Vulnerable Showcase will be at Black Dog Vinyl. It's going to be every last Wednesday of the month. So this upcoming one's January 25th. We'll run 6 to 9, and
And we have Dan McDowell, Josette Casey, and Arrays playing as well. So
Yes.
it's going to be a really, really fun night.
it's good. I'm probably gonna cry. So
Yeah, definitely. Well, we know that I will now.
Bring your tissues.
yeah. Stay vulnerable, my friends. And I think that's about it. Yeah, thanks for having us, and
Thank you for being here.
and stay vulnerable for real, and support your local music scene however you can, because you're supporting real humans. And what's better than that? I don't know.
What is better than that? It's a funny thing that you should mention all those people. All of those people have been on The Bunker. Did you know that?
Ooh, nice
And
work in there.
we actually have an end-of-year show coming up. Yeah, that's going to be... Okay, Zach.
And I'm looking.
Don't freak out. You can go to YouTube, type in The Bunker End of Year Show, and it will showcase everyone that has played. I think it's about 42 shows, something like that. It's pretty miraculous. Solo shows. Brian, you've been on there.
Played with you.
You played with me. Zach, you've been on there. I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a fantastic time. That's the only thing I really have to promote in terms of music. In terms of a message, I have 4 things to say. We all know
Here we
what
go.
these 4 things
Get
are.
out the pen and paper.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah,
I know
these
it.
are very simple. This is very essential for all human beings. Ready? Be kind. Be compassionate. Work hard. Do it daily.
Boom.
That's it. Thank you.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Not really, though. I don't want to drop the mic.
Yeah, they're
That's simple. This is what I do. This is what I live. And I encourage all of you to do these 4 things.
Thank you very much. And speaking of Fletch before, I'm looking at having him for the next Sounds of Chicago with a couple of his guests that has been on his show. So that should also be quite exciting to hear a little bit, not only from his perspective, but the artist's perspective. So
I can't wait. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's pretty amazing what we're doing over there. You know,
It is, yeah.
Original indie music, all original. You know, the fact that we're able to produce that quality all the time is pretty miraculous.
And bands from out of state have come.
Yeah, bands from other countries.
Other countries.
Yeah, we've had-
And unique genres, incling trash rock, which
Yeah.
I love it so much.
I love reading all the genres. Like, yeah, what is trash rock? Or like, there's gospel and punk, and I mean, there's so many amazing things. But we're all just human. That's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
But what has impressed me,
Inspirational.
not only the amount of guests that he's had, but also, like you were mentioning, the quality level that he delivers on a weekly basis.
I remember it. I first saw it. The Secret Lives were playing, and I was like, I want to play there. that looks so cool.
Yes.
And they were so great. I was like, I want to do that, and I was able to do it last summer or the summer before. And yeah, it's a really really cool experience.
Yeah, much love to what is it? Rachel Darling,
and Andy Victory.
for getting me on that show. They introduced me to Fletch, and I'm eternally grateful. Thank you.
I didn't know that. That rules.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remember. I'm watching it, and BCA just comes in onto the screen. I'm like, it's
Yep.
BCA.
And I never left.
He never left.
He lives there now.
Yep, I live there.
He
now.
lives with Professor Feathers.
We've gone off the rails.
Yep, that's what happens.
Were there rails?
No, I don't know.
No, there were
we had
never
rails
rails.
to start with. That's a good point.
But yes, Professor Feathers,
You had some feathers in your mouth that you're saying that.
great bird, very great bird.
Very well learned.
Yes.
Very obvious as a PhD in what's that bird's orthropology or whatever.
Featherology.
Featherology. Yeah. The study of feathers.
Tonight on National Geographic here.
Yeah. It's actually a little self-involved if you think about it, but I mean, to know oneself is to know the world around you or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Someone cut this for me because I will keep talking.
He will.
Cut. Well, thank you once again, and this concludes the Sounds of Chicago, brought to you by those who make the Sounds of Chicago.
We try. Well, they do.
I mean, I just make a
help.
lot of sounds.
Well, do you not make percussion?
Oh yeah. I guess that's
So
that is a sound.
Yeah.
Ha! Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you qualify.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Later.